To the details now, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has promised to start sending asylum seekers to Rwanda from July as the UK Parliament passed Rwanda asylum bill. Sunak said the government had booked commercial charter planes and trained staff to take migrants to Rwanda, a policy he hopes will boost his Conservative Party's flagging fortunes before an election later this year.
The success of this deterrent doesn't rest on one flight alone. It rests on the relentless, continual process of successfully and permanently removing people to Rwanda with a regular rhythm of multiple flights every month over the summer and beyond until the boats are stopped.
Well, under the policy formulated 2 years ago and agreed with Rwanda, any asylum seeker who arrives illegally in Britain will be sent to Rwanda under a scheme the government says will deter channel crossings and smash the people smugglers' business model. The legislation is expected to receive royal assent from King Charles later this week and then will become law. Well, witness testimonies have begun in Donald Trump's trial for criminal hush money payments, facing 34 charges in connection to allegations of paying off an adult film star before the 2016 election. Trump denies these accusations, saying the case is politically driven. DD India's correspondent William Denselaw provides updates from New York on this ongoing trial.
Entering the courthouse on Monday, Donald Trump once again railed against this case and this trial that he faces. He has described it as election interference, all in an effort to hurt his chances of regaining the White House come November. Monday saw opening statements in this trial. We heard from prosecutor Matthew Colangelo, who alleges that Donald Trump committed election fraud, pure and simple. The prosecution have painted a narrative that Donald Trump sought to dampen potentially politically damaging stories for making it public in the lead up to the 2016 election. The prosecution alleged that a reason why he used a fixer to pay the porn star Stormy Daniels $130,000 as a hush money payment was to make it as hard as possible for that payment to be traced. We heard from Todd Blanche, the defense lawyer representing Donald Trump, during opening statements that said that the prosecution laid out a neat narrative. However, he said it simply wasn't true. He went on to argue that Donald Trump committed no crimes. He even said that any efforts to try and influence an election, there is nothing wrong with that. He said simply that is what democracy is. We've also had the first witness take the stand during this trial. That is David Pecker, who owned the firm that controls the National Enquirer. That's a media organisation accused of catching and killing potentially politically harmful stories about Donald Trump in the lead up to the 2016 elections. He's expected back on the witness stand Tuesday. We're also expecting a hearing on Tuesday about Donald Trump's gag order that prosecutors allege he has been violating. They say such violations could result in fines or even up to 30 days behind bars. Judge Juan Machan put that gag order in place in an effort to stop Donald Trump from potentially attacking witnesses during this trial. Donald Trump says it is unconstitutional and has called for that gag order to be dropped. William Denslow in New York reporting for DD India.
And now updates on Ukraine-Russia conflict. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky expressed gratitude to US President Joe Biden for support and leadership in a telephonic conversation on Monday. Biden told his Ukrainian counterpart that the United States will provide significant new security assistance to meet Ukraine's needs as soon as the Senate passes an aid bill and he signs it into law. During the conversation, Zelensky also told Biden about Russian air terror through thousands of missiles, drones and bombs, and noted a strike on a television tower in Ukraine's second largest city of Kharkiv, which occurred minutes before their conversation. Later in his likely video address, Zelensky said the legislation still to be approved by the US Senate and signed by Biden clarified that Ukraine would be receiving the long-range army tactical missile systems it has long sought. Also, the Senate is set to vote on Tuesday to advance a $95 billion foreign aid package that includes $61 billion for Ukraine, which the House passed over the weekend. And a Russian air attack on Ukraine's second biggest city, Kharkiv, hit TV broadcast infrastructure, prompting disruptions with the signal. The 240-meter television tower in Kharkiv broke in half and fell to the ground after the attack on Monday. Regional Governor Ole Sinyahobov said there were interruptions to the digital television signal, adding that no casualties were reported because workers were in shelters. Also, dramatic footage from the scene showed the main mast of the tower breaking off and falling down as a cloud of smoke rose in the sky. Russia first attacked Kharkiv's television tower in early March 2022, soon after its full-scale attack on Ukraine. Moscow has recently stepped up its attacks, while Ukraine is suffering a shortage of air defense capabilities. Kharkiv and the surrounding region have experienced the most intense strikes. And British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak will announce $617 million uplift in military support for Ukraine on a visit to Poland on Tuesday. Sunak's visit to Poland to meet Prime Minister Donald Tusk is his first international trip for months. Ahead of his visit to Poland, Sunak in a statement said the package will help ensure Ukraine has what they need to take the fight to Russia. He warned Russia must be defeated to prevent its troops from pressing further into Europe. Britain has long been a vocal supporter of Ukraine, and the additional funding will take London's total military aid for this financial year to £3 billion, just days after the US House of Representatives approved a $60 billion package. Meanwhile, a delegation of U.S. representatives visited Kyiv on Monday to tout support for Ukraine. The visit comes following the passage of a $95 billion legislative package providing security assistance to Ukraine, Israel and Taiwan. Both Republican and Democrat representatives spoke to the media and paid their respects at the Memory Wall of Fallen Defenders of Ukraine after meeting President Volodymyr Zelensky.
As we discussed with the President, U.S. assistance in Ukraine is in good hands. I am confident that with the stringent oversight and accountability measures in place to ensure that our aid is not subject to fraud, corruption, or diversion. And once on the battlefield, we know that U.S.-provided weapons will be put to good use.
Here is an indication we can get the job done. But I always have felt that the support for Ukraine was there, it was strong. It was really just working its way through a Congress that is having difficulty even sometimes getting its own budget on time.
Well, updates related to Israel-Hamas conflict now. For weeks, international mediators have facilitated talks on a ceasefire and hostage deal. However, the talks have yielded no apparent breakthroughs, with both the warring sides accusing each other of rejecting proposals. Meanwhile, Matthew Miller said Hamas has signaled that they don't want an agreement.
And Hamas has then changed their demands. And so it certainly does seem like Hamas is more interested in a full-scale regional war, that they were watching the events of the past few weeks and making the determination that they might get the full-scale regional war they were hoping for, and so have not agreed to a very significant proposal that was on the table. And so we will continue to push for an agreement because we believe it's in the interests of Israel. We believe it's in the interests of the United States. We believe it's in the interests of the broader region. But it takes two to make an agreement. And right now, Hamas has signaled that they don't want an agreement.
And families of Israeli hostages of the Be'eri kibbutz gathered at the Hostages Square in Tel Aviv on Monday evening to attend a Seder in support of those held captive in Gaza by Hamas since October 7th. Kibbutz Be'eri community was one of the main targets. Many who joined the Seder dinner said they could not fully celebrate freedom this year. Passover, starting on Monday evening, is traditionally observed with the Seder, a holiday feast when families gather and celebrate the biblical account of the Israelites' freedom from Egyptian slavery. And the Israeli military's intelligence chief has resigned after accepting responsibility for the failures that allowed the devastating Hamas-led attack on Israel on October 7th. Major General Aharon Haliva, a 38-year-old veteran of the military, in his resignation letter acknowledged that his intelligence directorate did not live up to the task we were entrusted with. Haliva is the first senior figure to step down over the attack, which was the deadliest in Israel's history. The Israel Defense Forces said Major General Aharon Haliva would retire once a successor was selected. Well, several bakeries in Gaza City have resumed operation for the first time in 6 months with the help of the United Nations World Food Programme. The WFP said it has been using a new coordinated route to get aid to North Gaza, where it has delivered food parcels and wheat flour through convoys. More than 23 bakeries are currently operational in Gaza, providing over 3 million loaves of bread, rolls and pita daily. And North Korea conducted its first drill simulating a nuclear counter-attack under its nuclear trigger management system in an exercise guided by leader Kim Jong-un. North Korea fired several short-range ballistic missiles on Monday toward the sea off its east coast. As part of testing the nationwide nuclear management system, its artillery forces joined the country's first such drills in a show of diversified nuclear capabilities. Kim oversaw the simulation drills involving maneuvering troops in nuclear counter-attack posture and firing artillery with mock nuclear warheads in case nuclear crisis alerts were issued. And the drill was also a part of protest against US and South Korean military exercises. Meanwhile, officials of the two countries will meet in Hawaii this week for talks on sharing the cost of keeping American troops in South Korea. The current agreement is set to expire in 2025. The first meeting on the so-called 12th ROK US Special Measures Agreement would be held in Honolulu from Tuesday to Thursday. More than 28,000 American troops are stationed in South Korea as part of efforts to deter nuclear-armed North Korea. And just 3 weeks after a 7.2 magnitude quake hits Taiwan, more than 180 earthquakes struck the country's east coast starting Monday night into the early hours of Tuesday. The strongest tremor was recorded at 6.3 magnitude. The Marshall Building and a hotel in Hualien, which had already been damaged during April 3rd's quake, tilted to the side. The new series of quakes was centered on the largely rural eastern county of Hualien. There were no reports of any casualties. And the United States Supreme Court on Monday confronted the nation's homelessness crisis. The Supreme Court wrestled with major questions about the growing issue of homelessness as it considered whether cities can punish people for sleeping outside when shelter space is lacking. The justices heard arguments and an appeal that enforcing these anti-camping ordinances against homeless people violates the U.S. Constitution's 8th Amendment prohibition on cruel and unusual punishments. It's the most significant case before the High Court in decades on the issue and comes as record numbers of people are without a permanent place to live in the United States. The case started in Oregon's Grants Pass, which began fining people $295 for sleeping outside as the cost of housing escalated. According to U.S. government estimates, on any given night in the United States, more than 600,000 people are homeless. And news from around the world now. Renowned Bangladeshi singer Rezwana Chaudhry Banaya received the prestigious Padma Shri Award on Monday. Rezwaha Padma Shri Award serves as a testament to her unwavering dedication to the art of Rabindra Sangeet and her significant role in preserving and promoting cultural heritage across borders. Over a dozen vehicles were scorched by crossfire at the open-air parking lot at Philippines' Ninoy Aquino International Airport. According to the Manila International Airport Authority, no one was reported injured in the fire. The cause of the blaze is being investigated. Well, hundreds of indigenous people gathered in Brazil's capital on Monday for a 5-day protest camp to defend their land rights and discuss rights and policies for indigenous people. Warriors in feathered headdresses danced chanting ritual songs on the first day of mobilization. Russia marked the 300th anniversary of German philosopher Immanuel Kant with the reopening of the Immanuel Kant Museum in Kaliningrad city on Monday. The museum displayed an enhanced exposition of artist works dedicated to the philosopher. Kant was born, lived and worked in former Eastern Prussia. And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. India gears up for second phase of polling. Campaigning for the second phase gains momentum. In IPL, Chennai Super Kings will face Lucknow Super Giants for the second time in last 4 days today. And we'll show you how Inter Milan fans celebrated the winning of the 20th Serie A title.
Hype versus facts. In-depth news and analysis with experts who will help you decide why this election matters. DD India is the main election headquarters with numbers most accurate, data most reliable, and viewership across the platforms. Stay tuned to the Great Indian Election only on weekdays at 8:30 p.m. IST and 1500 hours GMT.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and let's now get you the latest on the world's largest democratic election in India. Well, ahead of India's second phase of polling in general election 2024, Prime Minister and Bharatiya Janata Party senior leader Narendra Modi held a public rally in northwestern state of Rajasthan today. Extending his wishes to the people on the occasion of Hanuman Jayanti, PM Modi during his address said that Rajasthan has protected the country on the borders for decades. PM Modi urged the people of Rajasthan to unitedly give their blessings to form a strong BJP government in the country. And India's Prime Minister and Bharatiya Janata Party senior leader Narendra Modi will address public rally in the central state of Chattisgarh. Union Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will address a public gathering in northern state of Uttar Pradesh and eastern state of Bihar. While Home Minister Amit Shah will participate in public rallies in eastern state of West Bengal, southern city of Bengaluru and western state of Maharashtra. Where is BJP President JP Nadda to address public meetings in central state of Madhya Pradesh? Uttar Pradesh's Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath will also hold a roadshow in the state's western city of Meerut. Also, Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi Vadra will hold public meeting in southwestern state of Karnataka. Congress leader Sachin Pilot will also hold an election rally in southern state of Kerala's Alappuzha city. He'll be participating in the rally in support of AICC General Secretary K.C. Venugopal, who is contesting the Lok Sabha elections. Bihar's Chief Minister and Janata Dal United Party Chief Nitish Kumar will hold roadshow in the state's Bhagalpur city. Samajwadi Party Chief and former Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh Akhilesh Yadav will hold public meeting in UP. Bahujan Samaj Party Chief Mayawati will also address a public meeting in Uttar Pradesh. And Deepa Karmakar, the star athlete of Tripura who made the entire country proud in the Olympics, is also the ambassador for the general elections. DD India's Deepika interacted with the star athlete where she talked about the developments of Tripura, her plans for the future, and also said that India is going to create history at the upcoming Paris Olympics. Take a listen.
Tripura comprises of 30% of tribal population, and out of which women are playing an important role. Our next report tells you what is the important role that women have got to play here and what are the demands of the tribal women.
Women, the strength of the nation and an important cog in the wheel of development for democratic India, are one of the most important part of the entire electoral process across the country. Tripura East, that is all set to go to the polls on the 26th of April of this month, represents around 6,94,237 female voters who are mostly tribal women, and many are waiting to see changes for a better life around them. On our way to Khowai district of Tripura East, we met a tea vendor on the Serpentine Hills. A single mother, a mother of 2 daughters, the tribal lady awaits a day when she can see better infrastructure on the hills.
Development has started taking place now only. I always go to vote. I'm a single mother. We need development to take place here so that we can work here. I have 2 daughters. I work to earn. Development, better roads are important.
We moved on to understand more concerns of the tribal women here. Another resident of Kuvai district says that she really dreams of her kids speaking in English, for which she demands a better school in her district.
We need healthcare system and private school for our kids. English is a trend now. We want our kids to talk in English. Healthcare facilities are also very important.
While another says that work opportunities are equally important for women upliftment here.
We need better facilities here in Khwai. We need more facilities so that we can get better opportunities to work.
In every Lok Sabha elections, these women make sure to go out and vote with the hope that someday their lives would change. For young girls, Tripura's Deepa Karmakar has become their motivation. Having trained for 2 decades now, Deepa, who hails from the small northeastern state, has become a star since the time she represented India at the prestigious Olympic Games in 2016. In Deepa, the localites see a wave of development. The Election Commission of Tripura has put forward the name of Olympian gymnast Deepa Karmakar as the ambassador from Tripura to ensure maximum voter turnout.
It's a proud moment for me to become an ambassador of the youth here. Women are achieving new heights. I urge all to come and vote. It's a festival of democracy. We all should vote.
So there you heard from the women who are coming from the tribal group of Tripura East, who need development, who need better school, who need better healthcare facilities here also, and who need the overall development of their own particular community in the eastern part of Tripura. So this is the issue of the tribal women of Tripura here in the eastern part of it. With camera person Kumar Datta, this is Deepika reporting for DD India from Tripura.
And about 80 kilometers from Jammu city in northern Union territory of Jammu and Kashmir is Rasi, where the primary means of livelihood is farming. Our correspondent Nandita Dagar travelled to Rasi and filed this report.
It is election season across India, and in the northernmost union territory of J&K, the Jammu constituency, it is the season for harvest too. 80-year-old farmer Doordarshan Sharma is busy with his harvest of wheat crop. He arrived in India from Lahore at the time of partition when he was a toddler. He is content with life for the most part. He still wishes though for a perennial water supply for his crops.
These crops did not receive water. This much happened without water. If proper water is given in farming, the yield can double. Only 2 crops can be taken in a year, in the Rabi and Kharif seasons. With water, 4 crops can be taken in a year.
His 2 sons and his wife help him in the farm. His wife Tara Devi now has an LPG gas connection, but once in a while loves to cook on the earthen chulha. She makes sure that other women vote. Traditionally, they haven't voted in large numbers here, but things are changing.
I encourage everyone to vote, reminding them not to waste their vote.
It all looks idyllic with Doordarshan Sharma having tea with his wife as she cooks green vegetables for the dinner. Here in Rasi, farmers like Doordarshan Sharma live a quiet and peaceful life. Notwithstanding that, they do face a few problems here and there when it comes to their farming. But one thing that all of them are sure of is that they have to vote on the polling day. With camera person PK in Rasi in Jammu constituency, this is Nandita Dagar for DD India. Well, the Indian Space Agency shared satellite images showing expanding glacial lakes in the Indian Himalayas. Glacial lake outburst floods or GLOFs can have devastating consequences for communities downstream. GLOFs occur when glacial lakes release large volumes of melt water due to the failure of natural dams, resulting in sudden and severe flooding downstream. Satellite remote sensing technology proves to be an excellent tool for inventory and monitoring the glaciers and related activity. Long-term satellite
NewsNight imagery covering the catchments of Indian Himalayan river basins from 1984 to 2023 indicate significant changes in glacial lakes. Of the 2,431 lakes identified during 2016-2017, 676 glacial lakes have notably expanded since 1984. Specifically, 130 of these lakes are situated within India. Long-term changes in the Gepang Ghat glacial lake at the elevation of 4,068 meters in Himachal Pradesh in India show a 178% increase in size from 36.49 to 101.30 hectares between 1989 and 2022. And in sports, in IPL, Chennai Super Kings and Lucknow Super Giants will face each other for the second time in the last 4 days when they take the field today in Chennai. And Spain's World Cup winning midfielder Aitana Bonmati was named the Sportswoman of the Year, while Serbia's Novak Djokovic captured the top men's honour at the 24th annual Laureus Award ceremony on Monday. Bonmati has previously cemented her place at the top of women's football by winning FIFA's the best Ballon d'Or and the World Cup MVP, among other accomplishments. She made her way onto the stage for a second time on Monday as the Spanish women's football team were named Team of the Year. Meanwhile, 7-time Super Bowl champion Tom Brady handed Djokovic his 5th Laureus Award after the top-ranked tennis player enjoyed a remarkable 2023. And thousands of Inter Milan fans took to the Piazza Duomo in the heart of the city on Monday evening, casting shades of blue and black against the backdrop of Milan Cathedral as they celebrated the Nerazzurri clinching a 20th Serie A title. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Kurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.